Well, hey there, Grand Design family. Jim Jacobus here. Hope this finds you all well and that you all made it safely back home or to wherever your next destination was after the Texas rally. This is our follow-up to the presentation that Christy and I did at the Texas Grand Design Rally. The goal here is to first thing, give you all of the PowerPoint slides so you can have that as a resource. Second thing is I'm going to record the presentation itself, and then I'm going to do a live demo in a separate video, if you will, of how to use RV Trip Wizard. So again, just going to kind of go through this and follow up with what we did. First thing to remember, we are just going to be hitting the high points on this. I'm not going to be going through all of the detail. Christy's not going to be here with me doing the recording. She's in there working right now. So you don't get to see her beautiful face, but you get to deal with mine. And that's kind of how we're going to go about putting this together for you. You will be able to access all of this information on one of two pages, either the Grand Design Rally page or on our Joy Hauling with Team Jacobus Facebook group. We'd invite you to join that. And also you'll be able to get it at joyhauling.com under the blog session. We invite you to follow us there as well. So let me just start off with the first thing we always want to share when we tell people, quote, how we do this stuff. First thing is, if anybody ever tells you there's only one way, then run fast, run far, run now. There are a lot of ways to get this done. There's a lot of great software tools out there. This is just how we do it, and RV Trip Wizard is the tool that we use. Quick little note here, there is going to be a 50% discount coupon at the end of this. We do not get paid anything by RV Trip Wizard. We don't have any relationship with them other than they were generous enough to give us some codes to share with people. And that's the only thing that's going on there. We believe in the tool. We like it. And I think you'll see that as we go through the presentation. And certainly as you look at the demo of the software, I think you'll see what a great tool it is. So take what you want. Use it, and whatever you don't like, just go ahead and ignore it as far as we're concerned. Okay, our quick story is that we bought our first travel trailer on a lark Valentine's Day of 2019. We had not been big campers. As a matter of fact, we'd gone camping 3 times in our marriage, 34-year marriage, and it was, all 3 of them were disasters. We had a terrible time. One ended up in a really bad back for Christy, and I mean, just it was not in our DNA. But we bought our first travel trailer on a lark on Valentine's Day of 2019, and we took it camping that weekend to Huntsville State Park. It was cold, rainy, nasty weekend, and we had a blast. Just a lot of fun. We camped like 6 out of the next 8 weekends, going all different kinds of places and really enjoying our 33-foot outback bumper pool, if you will. And about 3 months in or 4 months in, we were camping at Lake Livingston, literally camping there right on the water, sun going down, drinking a bottle of wine. And Christy asked me, "Do you think we could live in one of these?" And I said, "You're serious?" And she goes, "Yeah." I go, "Yeah. Oh, yeah." Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it was a little more straightforward than that even. So we started down the road of looking at going full time. And in December of 2019, we took delivery of our 399 TH. We ordered it back in September. And then in June of 2020, we went full time, and we've been full time since then. We'll tell you a bit more about kind of how we do it here in just a moment. So that's our quick story. We love it. We tell people all the time, full time is not for everybody, but it suits us really, really, really well. I talked about Marley in our presentation. I didn't get to show you the picture there, but there's Marley. A lot of you met him when he was, when you were at the rally. He's a great dog. If he didn't shed, he'd be perfect. But he's a part of Team Jacobus, and actually a great traveler. He does really well in the circumstances we find ourselves in. He loves it. So mindset is, I think, more than 50% of the deal here. And here's the mindset we feel like is really critical. First thing is we believe we can always find a place to stay. And that's because we're flexible. We use all of the tools available. We're still some we're learning to use. We haven't yet figured out how to use BLM land effectively, but we're going to start doing more of that, more boondocking and everything. But the bottom line is we really are very, very flexible. We only require two things in the places that we stay in. One is that they're safe, and two is that our 44-foot rig will fit in there. Those are the only two things, I guess, that they are dog friendly as well, I guess, but most of them are, particularly with a lab. But those are the only things that we require. We do not have to have full hookups. We do not have pull-throughs. We do not have to stay at state parks. And again, if that's how you camp, if that's the way you want to do it, then God bless you. We want you to be happy doing what you're doing out there. But what I would share with you is if you say the only way I can camp is fill in the blank, then it's going to limit the amount of places you can go. And with the proliferation of people buying rigs these days and more people out camping, it's going to be tough to find a place. And I think that's where a lot of the Facebook posts and information that we see is where people go, I can't find a place to stay, comes because there's some limitation to where they're willing to stay. We stay at all of the above. We stay at state parks, Corps of Engineer parks. We love those. We stay at Harvest Hosts. We boondock. We stay in quote parking lots, okay, RV resorts where people are close together. For us, it doesn't matter. It gets us out there. It gets us doing what we want to do. And at the bottom line is we make the most out of whatever it is we have to deal with. We've learned to laugh at, learn from, and get the most from our mistakes. I think I shared during the presentation that KYD, or Keep Your Daydream, was one of the first YouTube channels we started following. And the very first video we saw, they said, look, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Learn to laugh at them, learn from them, and move on. And for the most part, we've done a great job of that. It became sort of a mantra for us when things went wrong. You know, we make a mistake. Okay, let's learn how to laugh at it, even if it's an expensive mistake, and we made those as well. Learn from it. Okay, let's not repeat that, and then we just move on. Okay, we get back to what we're doing. And one of the really important things is we are in this together. We are a team. We call ourselves Team Jacobus. You might want to check out. We have a podcast called Your Marriage Matters. We refer to ourselves as Team Jacobus, and have for years. We believe that the marriage is the most important entity and that both of us are contributors to that. Yes, I want to make sure I get what I want out of it. Yes, Christy makes sure that she gets what she wants out of it. But at the end of the day, we believe the marriage is the most important entity, and we're both committed to making it the most best we can. So we are in this together, and we work on it together. We forgot how to make this work for the two of us. So our big plan, 30,000 foot view, is we spend about a third of our time in South Texas, where Christy's mom and dad live, helping them out and spending time with them. They're in their mid 80s. About a third of our time in North Texas, where our grandkids, and as we like to say, their caretakers live. Watching them grow up and being a part of their lives is a lot of fun. And then Christy said when we first got into all this, it's called a travel trailer. And travel is half of that. Well, it's not half of our existence. It's actually 100% of our existence, but we are on the road at least 30% of the time. And we did it one way the first year. We did it a different way this year. And we're already making a little bit different plans for next year, 2022, about how we go about traveling and seeing this amazing country that we live in. Kind of how do we decide where? Chrissy has her bucket list, and we've been checking those off. I have my bucket list. We've been checking that off. We have our bucket list, the things we both want to do, and we're in the process of checking that off. And one of the things we would really encourage you to do is sit down and create a bucket list of things that you want to do and places you want to go. What I would tell you is interesting. The more we have checked off Christie's and mine and our bucket list items, the more we've added new items to the list. There are more items on the list now than there was before. And we're both quite certain we will never see them all. And one thing we have learned is where all the places that we've been so far, I don't think we've left any of those going, well, we saw everything there was to see there. Almost every place we've gone to, we go, well, we could go back and still do this or do that. And for instance, we spent a month in Maine last year, and there's still stuff there up there we haven't gotten done yet. Matter of fact, I would tell you this, There are things in our own backyards that we haven't done yet, and that had a lot to do with how we got started doing this in the first place. So we would encourage you to create your bucket list, your personal one, your spouse's or travel partner's list, and create one together. So the tools that we use, these are just some of them. This is the bulk of them. ReserveAmerica.com is where all the state park reservations are done, or say most of them are done. Each of the states tend to have their version of ReserveAmerica.com. A couple of them have had their own softwares, but a lot of them use the same platform. Recreation.gov is where you'll find your national parks and your Corps of Engineer parks. We use that quite a bit. Matter of fact, I would say my personal preference would be COE parks. I really like those. We go to KOAs. We didn't put it in here, but we are 1,000 Trails members. We haven't used it in a while because there's not a lot of 1,000 Trails in the places we've traveled lately, but we were in the Northeast, and certainly when we head to Florida and the Keys, we'll probably buy that area in order to take more advantage of it as well. Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome are now the same platform. And I probably misspoke during the rally there about the fact that if you have a Harvest Host membership, that you automatically get boondockerswelcome.com added to that. I don't think that's true. It was added to mine because we were members of both, and I think they integrated that so that when I open up my Harvest Host now, I get all the Boondockers Welcome sites as well. And I believe that's what happens or is happening. If you have one or the other, you probably have to buy the other in order to get the full platform, and I highly recommend that. Like I said, currently we don't use BLM, Hip Camp, and some of those. We're working on learning how to use more of those to, again, expand our options. We've not stayed overnight in a Cracker Barrel or a Walmart, although I wouldn't hesitate to do that again if I felt safe. And obviously if the rig would fit in there. And RV Trip Wizard is the backbone of the planning process and the booking process that we use. If you want to find the app on your cell phone is going to be RV Life. And within RV Life, there are a number of different cool resources, if you will, but you will find RV Trip Wizard inside of RV Life on your phone. I do all of the planning and laying things out on rvtripwizard.com. I prefer to do that on my desktop here. It's a lot bigger and works a whole lot better for me. But I will use the RV Life app just to check things from time to time. Where's our next stop? How far is it? Where's 2 stops down the road? I use both, but I do all the planning on the desktop version. And then we have a Garmin 785 RV model. I like that particular model because it has a dash cam built in. And I actually use it to do all of my point-to-point navigating. I do not use RV Trip Wizard to navigate. I know folks that do, and they like it. I don't, and it's not because I don't like it. It's just because I prefer my Garmin 785. I have confidence in it, and like I said, I just use it to plan point-to-point. So those are the tools that we use, and a couple of the tools that we don't use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you into RV Trip Wizard here on the next video, and the process is going to be pretty simple. You're going to set up your account. You're going to set up your default settings. You're going to open up a new trip. You're going to set defaults for the new trip, set your filters, and plan your trip. All right, I'm going to show you how to do that in the software demo. When you're doing a short trip, and I'll show you how to do that, I'll actually do one for you. You're going to start with point A and your departure date. Then you're going to add point B and your arrival date, and then you look for places to stay and do your research, book your stay. And again, I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to give you a sample of that. When you're planning a long trip, it really isn't much different than that. It's simply point A, point B, start and stop dates. And there's multiples of those. The little picture that you see here on this presentation, that is the picture of the trip that we are just about to wrap up. This is Wednesday, October 27th, I think it is. October 27th, yep. And we end up back in Dallas, Fort Worth on Monday, November 1st. We'll be sitting still for a while. So you say your point A's and your point B's, and then what I would tell you to do is crowdsource. Get on the Grand Design pages and ask people, what's the best route? Where do you stay? What are the things that you see? We did a lot of that. And many of these places here that you see that we stopped were places that we learned about on the Grand Design pages. A lot of people have done these trips before, and we got some great intel and info about places to stay and things to do. So use Facebook as a crowdsource. Plan your stops, how long you're going to stay there. Sometimes I'll use a placeholder. If I'm not sure, I'll show you how to do that. We do use, by and large, the 330 rule. And that means that we're trying not to go any further than 330 miles in a day, and we'd like to be sitting still by 3:30 in the afternoon. That gives us plenty of time for a simple setup, relax, and get some good rest that evening, get a good meal, enjoy the place that we're at least a little bit, and then be rested up to head out the next day if we're doing a short stop, or to plan the next day and go see some things if we're there a little bit longer. So again, I'm going to show you how to research the options for places to stay, and then you're going to book them either using their websites or by phone. And then you can start booking excursions and side trips and do some planning some sightseeing. One of the things that we taught, and I don't think we shared this with you at the rally, is we have a lot of fun in planning the trip and creating the anticipation of the trip months before we ever actually leave on the trip. And Christy and I will both research things to do and places to go and stuff to see. And we start getting excited about the trip long before we ever head out. And so enjoy the anticipation of planning the trip and putting everything together. All right, so this is what a full dashboard looks like, and you'll see that if you watch the RV Trip Wizard demo. It's very in-depth and a lot of information here, and I'll show you what that looks like. So just to make sure you have it here, the freebie that we are offering, or that RV Trip Wizard is offering you, is 50% off of RV Life and everything that comes with that, including RV Trip Wizard. The code at checkout is Grand RV 2021, and that is good until the end of the year. If you're on the RV Life, when you check out, you'll use that code. And if you do it on the website, rvtripwizard.com, you'll use that code as well. So Q&A, obviously this is not a live webinar, but if you have any questions, you can send those questions to me either in the Facebook post on the Texas Grand Design Rally Facebook group, on the Joy Hauling with Team Jacobus Facebook group. You can add them to the joyhauling.com blog. At the bottom, you can ask your questions there. You're welcome to direct message me if you'd like to. I even got off the phone with a lady yesterday from the rally, walking her through how to use RV Trip Wizard yesterday, and I'm glad to do that. Anything I can do to help. So again, this is just a video going through the presentation and hitting the highlights. The next link that you'll see will be a video of the demo of RV Trip Wizard. Again, thanks guys. We really appreciate you. Great meeting so many new friends at the RV, the Texas Grand Design Rally in Kerrville. Made a lot of new friends, caught up with some old friends, and just had a blast. So God bless you guys. Take care. If we have anything we can help you with, don't hesitate to reach out. Take care, gang.